Americans inoculated by a month from now or whatever the date he gave, and how unprecedented this is. America's the leader, but no comment that it was Donald Trump that was able to get the vaccine out, whether you like the vaccine or not. I mean, he does like the vaccine, the President Biden, and yet won't acknowledge that. It's just worth noting it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I didn't expect more. People lose sleep when they get disappointed. It's very hard for a Democrat to disappoint me. It just is. What are they? He was asked, "Are you lurching left?" No, 50% of Republicans agree with me. Where did he get that? I never found him to be. His tone is Mr. Next Door Neighbor, nice guy, and yet he makes up stuff. I remember in his debate, vice presidential debate, he made up stuff, and I remember it was something about the Middle East, and I thought it was a big deal, and I thought, wow, I follow this stuff, and I never heard of that, and sure enough, it never happened. So the other thing worth mentioning is the docility of the press, except for one question, which I noted. I wanted to hug that reporter. But otherwise, I mean, how about just, what would you say, Mr. President, to the parent of a girl who otherwise would have gotten a sports scholarship but lost out in every single race in her high school to a biological male who identified as a girl? Well, would you say to that parent, this is fair? Your daughter actually lost fairly? I mean, half the Republicans agree with his legislation. Half the Republicans agree that $1 trillion be given to bail out states and cities that are Democratic overwhelmingly, who overspend, who are corrupt beyond words, like my city of Los Angeles, where corruption is endemic. And that's what the Rescue America bill was. Rescue Democratic States bill. It was also good for individuals. I fully acknowledge that because truth is important. But a good chunk of it. Mr. President, where is the money going to come from? Mr. President, this was asked. The people at the border themselves are saying it is because you are welcoming people and said America is essentially open and we will give you whatever you need, health care and education and so on, that millions upon millions of people are entering or will enter the country. Why did you stop if you are against this immigration, is illegal immigration, why did you stop the building of the wall? Just a few things that come to mind that might be asked. Can you imagine if this were a Donald Trump press conference, of course, and there were a major Republican governor mired in the scandals of Andrew Cuomo? Financial, moral, health, and sexual harassment scandals? Not a word about that. I mean, I don't care personally whether Joe Biden asks that Andrew Cuomo resign or not is on a list of 100 things that I'm concerned about, number 100. So, nevertheless, it would have been a preoccupation at a press conference. They were yelling. Remember, they just yell at his press conferences. This was like a cheerleading group. You know how many questions there were about the filibuster to egg him on to support a way of getting rid of the filibuster? I'm surprised he wasn't asked about D.C. as a state. Has he come out for D.C. as a state? Listen, if we want to do a realignment in this country, I read to you last week or 2 weeks ago where there's a movement in Oregon to join to join Idaho. Let's go back to the president talking about the border.
It's not like somebody sitting on a hand-hewn table in Guatemala, in somewhere in Mexico or in Guadalupe saying, I got a great idea. Let's sell everything we have. Give it to a coyote. Have them take our kids across the border into a desert where they don't speak the language. Won't that be fun? Let's go. That's not how it happens.
How does it happen? People
don't want to leave. When my great-grandfather got in a coffin ship in the Irish Sea, the expectation was he going to live long enough on that ship to get to the United States of America. But they left because of what the Brits had been doing. They were in real trouble. They didn't want to leave.
Well, what does this have to do? So what?
So we can't. I can't.
I'm sorry to interrupt, folks. I don't understand. What does he?
But I can guarantee we can make everything better.
This is his solution.
We can change the lives of so many people. And the other thing I want to point out to you, and I hope you point out, I realize it's much more heart-wrenching, and it is, to deal with a 5-, and 6-, and 7-year-old. But you went down there and you saw the vast majority of these children, 70% are 16 years old, 17 years old, and mostly males. Doesn't make it good, bad, or indifferent, but the idea that we have tens of thousands of kids in these god-awful facilities that are really little babies crying all night, there's some, that's true. That's why we got to act. And yesterday, I asked my team, both the director of the two agencies as well as others, I asked them what would they in fact, and I asked their opinion because they're the experts, but I said, focus on.